Good evening. Okay, we're on. So this is my first official meeting as a chair for Lodi Improvement Committee, so bear with me here. So I want to call the meeting to order. And we're going to do a roll call.
Absolutely. Member Castro? Here. Member Jurales?
Here.
Vice Chair Hill?
Here.
Chair Davis?
Here.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from, September 9th and August 12th and September 9th
And July 20th.
and July 22nd.
So yeah, we had July 22nd special meeting, August 12th regular meeting, and then on September 9th, we had a regular meeting. So we're going to vote. Sorry.
We need a second.
So we need a second. And then Carrie, could you record the vote?
Absolutely. Member Castro? Yes. Member Jurales?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hill?
Yes.
Chair Davis?
Yes.
It passes 4-0.
So it looks like at this time, we're going to take comments by the public. If there's anyone in the public audience that would like to make comments. No one seems to want to make comments tonight. So we're going to go into the next phase of this, which is we have a presenter here this evening to discuss the Community Development Block Grant.
Yes.
And so here's Carrie Chadwick with that presentation.
Just really quickly, Madam Chair, Jennifer sends her best from Europe.
Hi, Jennifer.
Much needed rest.
We miss you, but we're glad you're resting.
Oops. Okay. Thank you so much, and I will reiterate that this is the first time I've given a presentation to the committee, so please bear with me. A lot of firsts tonight. All right, so we have a presentation on the Community Development Block Grant. We have a NOFA coming out, which is the notice of funding for the grant. Because this is a second year of a two-year cycle for our public services funding, only capital projects will be able to apply for the funding this year.
What does that mean, capital fund?
You can turn your mic on, please. There you go.
What does capital funding mean? I'm sorry.
Okay, for capital projects, for instance, for last year, we had Salvation Army upgraded their security cameras. They applied for funding to do that, and that's a capital project. Let's see, Lodi House, they're painting one of their residences. This city also has capital projects that they work on. There's an alley project that's going on that's going to be done through CDBG capital funds as well. Yep, you just can't do it for like the food programs and the Hope Harbor and those types of programs, the public service type programs. It's only for capital projects. Okay, so so a little bit of background on CDBG. It is a fund that's given to us through the federal government, and we are an entitled city. Therefore, we automatically get funds. We don't have to ask for funds. We get a percentage based on whatever the budget is for the program. And it is given to us through HUD, which is the Housing and Urban Development Department of the federal government. Okay, and then the goals. Yes? Your mic needs to be on, please. There you go.
Wonder. Okay. You said comes from the HUD, and these funds come in December. So how much we are?
No, the funds actually, we don't get allocated the funds because this is for the 26-27
Okay.
year.
Okay.
We won't even know what we're getting from them until April or May,
Okay.
depending on how the
Can I
budget.
make a recommendation for the presentation? Can we have the presentation and then take questions, like maybe take notes and then take questions at the end, just because I don't want to detour from your presentation and then get the questions at the end of it? Is that
Sure,
okay?
that works. Or however you guys want to do it.
Well, my reason being
I'm open
is
to
that
either
there might
way.
be questions that are answered within her presentation, and then it'll kind of keep it more fluid, and then we can ask. Thank you.
The HUD goals that, that are put out for us to follow are to provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing, provide a suitable living environment, and expand on economic opportunities. The national objectives, which are, these are the eligible, for the activity to be eligible, they have to meet one of these national objectives, which is the principally benefit low and moderate income persons, defined as families and individuals whose households incomes do not exceed 80% of a jurisdiction's median income, which is currently around 100,000 right now for our area. Aid in the prevention or elimination of slum or blight, and meets an urgent need. Urgent need would be something like a flood, fire, that sort of thing, something that was very catastrophic. One of the, I'll take it back, urgent need also, they brought out special funds for urgent need when COVID hit. So we had some special funding over and above our CDBG normal funds when COVID hit that addressed some urgent need. Eligible organizations, the City of Lodi, city departments, government and quasi-government agencies, nonprofits and nonprofit partnerships, for-profit for economic development projects. We really haven't done any of those, so if you have questions on those, I will have to get back to you on that because I'm not as familiar with those because we really haven't handled any of those types of projects.
Carrie, I believe we did use CDBG funds for the Housing Authority project, which is a capital project,
That's capital, it's not economic development.
but isn't, I thought this was still tied to the conversation of eligibility and,
Yeah, I'm just saying for that one bullet point,
okay,
for the economic development projects, I'm not familiar with the for-profit economic development, how those operate. I'd have to do more research on that.
got it. Thank you. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Eligible costs within the funding are for personnel or staff for salaries and benefits, office facilities, rentals, leases, phone charges, a lot of people that are working from home right now. You can get your internet. Those are eligible costs. Materials, supplies, communications, which is internet, travel, mileage. Ineligible costs. Programs that do not meet one of the 3 national objectives, which was a couple slides up. Programs and services that promote religion, political activities, marketing incentives and fundraising, payment and debt and expense incurred prior to agreement, entertainment, furnishings, or personal property. Like for instance, we can't pay for you to have, put a shed up in your backyard. It's not going to work. General equipment, unless necessary for implementation of the eligible activity. I'm trying to think of an example on that. Give me a minute and I might. Food for employees. Food assistance programs are eligible, however, but you cannot feed the employees. 26-27 CDBG program year. The program year timeline starts in July of 2026, ends in June of 2027. The quarters are obviously laid out like you would normally see any quarterly reports done. We don't have an allocation. We're not even estimating really an allocation. We did estimate just for the capital improvement allocation, 550,000 receiving. This year we received 649 something, which we thought was great because we didn't really expect it to be that high coming in this last year, but it was good because we got to increase a couple of the ones that we had to cut when we were doing our scoring. So we did estimate, just to get the capital improvement allocations amounts out, the 550,000. Obviously, if it comes in more around 600,000, which is usually what we estimate, that would be great. We'll be able to increase that. And because this is a 2-year cycle for our public services, if it comes in less, we will end up having to cut their second year by a percentage across the board as well, which the public services that we had approved last year, or this last year, will have to be cut down by a percentage based on what we end up getting allocated from the government for the program. The NOFA, which is the Notice of Funding Availability, will be available, will be released on the December 8th. There'll probably be something in the paper on the 6th, noticing people that it'll be released on the 8th. Application presentation to Lodi Improvement Committee will be offered up, and it's an optional item, but it'll be offered up to our public to do on January 13th at the January 13th meeting. And then applications will be due on the 27th. Obviously, we'll go through the applications. Staff is who scores the capital projects. Lodi Improvement Committee does the public services. In the application and instructions, there's really no one here for this part, so I'm not sure. I'll just kind of fly through this part, but if we had some providers here, we would, this is theirs, this is what they need to know, basically. So they're gonna need to know that on December 8th, that the application and application instructions will be made available on the website. We have, then once it comes through, they would, okay, so we're encouraging people to talk to staff if they feel that the eligibility of their project may not or may fall within the guidelines. So if you're not sure, give staff a call. We'll be able to help you out. They have to make sure that their insurance documents are up to date because insurance will be required along with the subrecipient agreement. Your mic needs to be on, please, Bertha.
I raised my hand.
Okay, there you go.
Before I forget, so that's why I interrupt, sorry. But I'm a little confused with the capital. The funds were for capital items only. And now we're talking about who's going to have the presentations on December 8th over here? Who will do it? Because now we're talking about individual families.
There will not be a presentation on December 8th.
No, in January, I'm sorry.
On January 13th, the capital projects, it's open to providers. So like our service providers, like I said, Salvation Army, Lodi House, they both got capital funds this last go-round for projects that they had.
Who else can apply? Because we're talking about
Any
these ones are
nonprofit can apply.
nonprofits. So as long as they have the documents, but it has to be like nothing that has to do with giving. You say it's more towards a building or something physical, that's how I understand. So let's say Lodi, a partnership for families, they can apply too, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
If they have a project that they want to apply for, absolutely.
And last year, what I was looking is that there was only $100 and something for that, for the,
Last year?
yes, that year 2024, 2025. That's
Oh,
what it was.
24, 25, I don't know. Which one? You're looking at this one?
Yeah,
I think she's talking about last year's allocation and
Yeah,
distribution.
the 25, 26 allocations,
yes.
we had over 337-ish
And that,
dollars,
And I-
$1,000.
and all that amount went to the nonprofits?
No,
That's the
city
part that
ta-
I want to,
the city took 235, I think, around that.
okay.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, sorry, so I can.
Okay, no, now I understand, thank you. I just
yeah,
needed to clarify that, and now I'm clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The capital, I will clarify again, the capital projects, they are split like a 60-40. So 40 for public services or nonprofits, and then 60 goes towards the city projects,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Okay, it's very important that the entity makes sure that they're able to meet all the requirements and reporting. It's not always really easy, but reporting that is required by HUD. So that's one of the things that they have to make sure that they're able to do. It's probably why most of our applications are by the same entities. Okay, setting goals. It is important to be realistic in estimating the number of people served by your program. In this case, the program isn't necessarily it is kind of being served. They still have to distinguish who they're serving with their project and how many they are serving within the parameters of the low to moderate income, or there's demographics in the demographics category as well. Include only Lodi residents in your goal reporting. So CDBG funds for Lodi should stay in Lodi. We're not using any of the county areas or anything like that. The goal cannot be lower than the number of Lodi residents you serve now. So if you're a repeat applicant, you're in a repeat program, your program still, it has to meet or exceed the number that you're currently serving. Roughly estimate the number of low and moderate income people. If you, don't have data, more information can be established. So you can do an area of benefit, which is like we have the east side, there's a target area that we have that we've already established with HUD, that they basically established with us based on census. And so if you have an area of benefit, that also works. You have demographics, like our Meals on Wheels program targets seniors. So that's a demographic, so that kind of thing. Roughly estimate, I think I already did that one, didn't I? Yes. For limited clientele, which is what I just explained, a minimum of 71% of the participants must be low to moderate income. So the Meals on Wheels, they have to do their demographics and say the seniors that they serve have to be, 71% have to be low to moderate income. Application submittal, this is going through how they're going to submit the application. They'll be submitting it through an FTP link at our neighborhood services at lodi.gov web email address, or they can use a USB drive and drop it off or mail it to us through the mail. There's questions here. You can reach out to myself or Jennifer. Also CC Austin if you're going to be emailing all of us. It helps because then you have more people looking at it that can answer the questions. The application should be in a Word document and the attachments can be in a PDF format.
Carrie, you may want to explain who Austin is?
Austin is our contract program specialist. He works for Michael Baker and he's he's been assisting the city for some time.
I want to ask a question at this moment, again, sorry. In the past 10 years, what has been the role of Lodi Improvement Committee in this process?
The last, when did they start it? Probably about 8 years ago. The Lodi Improvement Committee scores the public services applications for public service, not the capital projects. The capital projects are done by staff,
Okay, so this is only for the public.
right? Probably because we don't get as many applications.
What
For
has Lodi Improvement Committee has done to reach to the families of Lodi?
Say again?
Is there somewhere in the minutes or as far as you remember, what have the Lodi Improvement Committee has done to make sure that the city, the community is aware of these funds?
I don't know if the Lodi Improvement Committee has done anything. We send out emails and notifications to our providers that we are aware of.
To your providers, but I'm talking about the community who would like to apply for one of these grants.
Is there public noticing? I think she's asking.
Yes,
Yeah, it's publicly noticed in the paper and it's put on our website, but the public really individually can't
no, they
apply for these
can't,
funds.
I know, but sometimes they form part of a nonprofit and they might need to know a little bit more so they can bring the information to their group. That's how I see it, because, I mean, there's so many nonprofits out there in the city, but except that the only well-known nonprofits is Boys and Girls Club, Salvation Army, those that you mentioned. But there's a lot more small ones that they do provide services to the community. But some members of their board maybe not involved so much in this type of grants. So I would like to see something more than just the website of the city of Lodi, because to be honest, I think the reason that we don't have that much people over there here is for that reason, because the publicity that they have the opportunity to come and talk to us and ask us questions is not out there. It's how we're supposed to reach to the community.
Okay,
I really think this is something we can definitely discuss as a committee, and we're all sort of relatively new to the committee, but if we could save, I think that's a really good goal. I would like to see the end of the present, get to the,
We do have that, what you're talking about, as a specific goal.
Okay.
So we'll get, definitely, I understand what you're saying, we'll
Let me
get
write it
there.
down then. Thank you.
grant application ranking. Basically, we're going to go through and ensure that the the program meets a national objective, that the program supports a goal is outlined in the application, readiness to proceed, and the ability to complete the project within the program year, leverage funding and collaboration. We want to make sure that CDBG funds aren't the only funds for the program. Cost reasonableness, effectiveness, largest benefit, past performance, grant management experience, that's very important. You have to be able to prove that you managed a grant in the past. It scores very heavily in our scoring. Completeness of application. What happens if you are selected to receive a grant? This part is pretty much just for the awardees. So basically, once you're an awardee, you'll have to sign a subrecipient agreement with the city. You'll have to have a scope of work and budget, which should be a part of your application. However, sometimes things change based on other funding. So if that's going to change, you need to let us know to revise what your budget was for your application. Then you reimburse the program. Expenses cannot occur until subrecipient agreement is fully executed by the city. So the sooner you get it back to us, the sooner we can start paying. City program and staff will schedule a quarterly meeting soon after the start of the 26-27 program year to answer questions, coordinate with all funding recipients. However, again, staff is always available to answer questions if any ever come up. All agreements will run from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Proof of insurance is necessary. That goes along with the subrecipient agreement as well. Most often, the city pays on a quarterly basis for these types of projects. However, on some capital projects, it's just a single payment because that's usually when the work's done. They pay, we're done, that kind of thing, so. Intake sheets and every organization is required to do and to record information on ethnicity and race, family characteristics, and income. If the organization does not have these intake forms, they can ask us, we can provide those. Quarterly reports, summary reports are given every quarter. They submit those. Again, if they don't have them, we can provide those for them as well. Quarterly invoices, they have to have supporting documentation. When they send in those invoices, a lot of our invoices are a couple hundred pages when they submit as we go through the details. And then, of course, quarterly reports to be submitted in order to receive reimbursement. Technical assistance, again, staff is always available. We're here to help and understand the forms requirements. Once a year, CDBG staff may contact the organization to complete a monitoring visit to review the program's financial information. So we'll want to see all their backup information, all their invoices, all their intake sheets. The intake sheets aren't submitted with their invoices, so that's something that they keep in their files. But we do need to know that they're keeping that information in their files. Yeah, and they'll have to keep all CDBG related documentation for 5 years. Any questions?
Maybe before we get into additional questions, maybe a high-level evaluation of all of this. Much of what we've covered here is actually monitored and produced for you by staff. The evaluations of the completeness of the application is a large part of this. A lot of what you've read has to do with the liability of receiving grant funds. It has an amazing high level of accountability for expenditures. And so monitoring those expenditures becomes the role of staff, not LIC. So the goal would be to bring to you, through a process, qualified applications that meet all of those guidelines, that can be screened for those purposes. So to your initial point of who can apply and does the public know, most of our service providers in this community are well aware of this program because they have been participants for years. You may get a new one showing up every now and then. It's recently created, but for the most part, we have lots of applications, and the goal is to come up with the best qualified for them. All of those qualified applications, meaning they meet all the criteria, will be allowed to present to LIC in person. Some have elected not to do that and just submit their application and speak for themselves. We encourage them to come in, to meet with you, to discuss their program, so you have some insight into what they're asking beyond just what it states in the applications. So throughout that whole process, there'll be an ability for the committee to grade each of those applications. You'll receive them as packets. You'll be able to grade them independently, and then you'll bring your findings back into chambers at a later date, a later meeting, and then you will discuss as a committee how you see scoring those applications. What's a little confusing today is these are just CIP because of what was stated up front. Normally, when we have our service providers, like next year, you will have all these service providers coming in the door for that because their allocations were set last year for 2. There's a reason why they're not involved in this discussion tonight. So I hope that helps just to get a sense of what's going on. A lot of what takes place does take place behind City Hall doors because it's a lot of refurbishment of information. But I know both Carrie and Jennifer have met individually with members of this committee just to make sure that we're clear as you're going through your review process so that you have some really good guidance when you get into that decision-making mode. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. I understand this is a well-oiled machine. You guys have been, harnessing how to get through the CBDG grant every year or every other year, depending on, there's something to be said for something that's predictable, and you have your providers that you're used to working with that are well-educated on how to fill out the application process, and everything works real smooth, and everybody that applies that you're aware of gets to have the funding, and everyone goes home happy, except for, I would agree with Berta in that this shouldn't be ran just that way, and that it should be perhaps marketed in a fashion that would allow for new growth in our community. It's nice that people are consistently able to achieve getting funding for certain things. However, there are possibilities out there that we are missing out on things that we're not aware of because they're not aware of this opportunity. So thank you for that. And thank you for bringing up that we do need to be kind of distributing this in a more public fashion, in my opinion.
So I just want to make a quick statement. I understand your sentiment here. I think it cannot go unsaid that the paperwork and the documentation involved in this make it very difficult to award grants to people or to organizations that don't have experience, background managing these types of things. It can be quite overwhelming. And if you're only going to get a small amount, it's not enough to cover the cost of managing that paperwork. So I do understand the sentiment.
Can I say
understand.
something?
And to be clear, we do publish this in the papers, on websites. We do reach out to the general public. We don't ever just contact previous recipients or those who were on previous lists. We make sure that it is vetted publicly. And can we do a better job? The reality is we're so limited to what options we have. I don't know if we use social media yet, Carrie, correct me. So if we're on social media as well. So we have all the vehicles out there. But as mentioned, this is a territory where very few individuals, especially nonprofits, look to try and receive funding because of the complications and the access to the funds. It doesn't preclude anybody from trying. We do have applications that we deem incomplete. And we have had in a case, minor, but where once an award was made, the reporting that was required was not fulfilled through that grant process. So in those cases, it actually goes as kind of a dark mark against that organization, according to the state and the feds, as far as the allocation of these funds without that proper reporting. Every grant the city receives, regardless of what it's used for, comes with an amazingly strenuous accountability. It's the use of public funds, so it has to be absolutely transparent. Record keeping, as we all know, in different businesses mean different things. For these kinds of grant resources, it has to be pretty impeccable. And staff does everything we can to make sure we check and recheck and hold recipients accountable. So we monitor these throughout the year. It's not you're awarded, you leave, and then a year later you come back and ask for more. There's constant communications between staff and every recipient just to ensure that they're meeting the obligations.
I understand the paperwork aspect of it and the liability. However, that I feel like that's missing the point of what these funds are created for. And yes, it's more simplistic and the liability is less and all of that is fantastic and it keeps everything very, streamlined. However, it's missing the point that this is supposed to be money for people that could benefit and perhaps bring in my opinion, new opportunities. So I get it, but
Can I say something too? So my experience last year with this was, I was new to it, so I kind of learned, real quick, and then Carrie helped me out tremendously, to make sure I was going the right direction. But a lot of the nonprofits that applied, from my memory, is that they were incomplete, number one, and then it was so tedious and time consuming that they ended up pulling out, right? Am I right? There were several that didn't meet the criteria?
We had, I think, only 2 applications
Oh,
that
okay.
didn't meet the application
So
criteria.
then my other question is, how long has the Lodi Improvement Committee been responsible for helping do the allocations for the CDBG grants, is my question? I mean, have we been doing this for years?
Yes,
Or as a
probably
committee?
the last 10,
Oh, it's been that long?
8 years, 8,
Okay.
10 years, something like that, yeah.
That was my,
And these are just recommendations to the city council. They do not have to
Right,
follow our recommendations.
that is correct.
Yeah. So the scoring is a huge part of it. So when the applications come in, a lot of times they're organizations that we all have this heart for, but the scoring just isn't there. So then they're not at the top of there's only a certain amount of money that can be awarded, and it can be really frustrating.
What is helpful, probably I see that there are some people that can help with their filling up their applications, right? That's what I was reading, or not?
No, we can't help them fill out their application. We can answer questions that they have regarding the application and what exactly we're asking for on an item, but we can't help them fill it
After
out.
they submit the application, and if they're missing some paperwork, can they bring it, or that's it? You're not able to, like, say, they're missing?
Typically, if it's something simple, we can follow up with oh, by the way, you didn't have this, or we've had them where they've been submitted and the document's been locked. So
Oh, okay.
we couldn't open it.
Yeah.
So we've contacted them and said, can you send us another document that's not locked, that kind of thing. But yeah, we do follow up and say, you're missing this one item.
has the city ever,
But we only give them a couple of days to
Yes.
respond to that, sorry.
Yes.
has the city ever considered offering like a formal training on this process for nonprofits or people that are interested in applying, that maybe they're intimidated by the process because they know by, just by years of experience in their application process that they've not been even considered? Has there ever been, or could there be a day of formal training on how to properly apply so that the opportunity is more available to them?
Like a workshop.
We've done a workshop before. It's been a while. Yeah.
Can we suggest that it's time to do it again? Can we suggest, maybe it's time to do it again? To see whether is a response, to see somebody's,
It might be better to do it next year or going into next year, simply because of the fact that that opens it up for the next 2-year cycle for our public services.
thank you.
But yes, definitely, I mean, that's definitely something that under the goals, like you said, for reach out and that sort of thing, we can probably add a little caveat in there to open up a workshop for nonprofits to come in for the application process, absolutely.
I feel as the improvement committee, it's our duty to bring in fresh and reinforce things that could benefit the community. And I think that I would agree that we should bring in the workshops and make positive change to make this, even though it's not convenient in the moment for this particular one, but we should be looking forward to making this more of an opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's keep it on the goal list so that it stays in front of all of us to keep going with it. Okay, any other questions?
Seeing as there's no other questions, thank you for your presentation. You did fantastic, even for your first presentation. You handled our questions with authority and grace. Thank you. And let's see, so we're going to move on to our annual activities and updates and task assignments. So we've got, and then Lisa, if you want to help me through this part, because I'm still learning how this.
I'm the first person to talk anyway. So, hold on, let me get to my page on our goals. Whoa. This is a
So we're going to
big-
be discussing the unsheltered population.
Yeah.
And that would definitely be Lisa.
So this is back here, the back of our packet here, it says, right here, Bertha and Mono. Okay. So, and I have notes here because I'm old and I can't remember everything. So I'm the liaison between the unsheltered service providers and the Lodi Improvement Committee, because I'm the chair of the Lodi Committee on Homelessness. This last month at the Access Center, we had 3 people obtain employment. We had 9 people transition into housing. We had 3 people transition into program. Here we go. Let me find out from Hope Harbor. We had 6 new pre-programmers entered Hope Harbor for alcohol and drug treatment. We had 3 pre-programmers successfully completed and were transported to residential treatment. And we had 2 clients entered support team transitional program. And there were 2 individuals who gained full-time employment. Lodi House continues to be a major contributor to women and children's homelessness in the community. They put out quarterly reports. Anybody who's interested in a more thorough understanding of what's happening in the city, I would encourage you to access the agenda and report packages that are on the city's website for the Lodi Committee on Homelessness. We do have a meeting on Thursday at 2:30 in the Lodi Community Room. You'll find that the report package is very thorough in giving you an understanding of what's happening in the city. The Lodi Committee on Homelessness did do a tour of Prevail in Stockton, which is an absolutely fabulous organization. They do amazing work. We toured 4 facilities. One was their youth safe house. One was the main office. And there was also a transitional living house and a youth drop-in center for just kids to come in. But I can't tell you, they are so creative in meeting people where they live. And a lot of it is, there's a lot of people that are working and doing and meeting the needs of the same types of people, but in a different way, because not everybody deals with trauma in the same way. So it's a really impactful organization, and it's really worth supporting. So that's my update.
Lisa, would you like me to add a link to the Lodi Committee on Homelessness agenda page on
Yes.
this report?
That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be great, yeah.
I can do that.
Thank you, Lisa. We move on to East Side Improvement, which was previously run by Lindsay Nuss, who's unfortunately no longer with us. I do see a potential future for Berta in the department. So I don't have any updates on that. Community event and mental health, that was another member that is no longer with us. So as we go through these, we are a very new committee once again. So we're going to be on a pathway to change some of these goals. And it sounds like we'll have a better idea in the future, the short future. Hopefully, coming into the new year, we'll have a better a basis of where we're headed with this. Community improvement is, I am also on this task. However, not a lot has been changing or going on due to our unfortunate cancelings of meetings. We've not been able to hold a quorum enough to keep this rolling in a way that's really productive. So now I would say by our next meeting, we should definitely have more than a full quorum, and it'll be good to get some tasks back in the book. Let's see. Community recognition is, I'm just gonna say, well, do you have anything to say, Lisa, about the city beautification? Because I see you're on the Part C of our community improvement.
I don't, I've got my hands full with all this other stuff, so I haven't really given that much thought. I just want to say the community recognition back on item B, under 3B, that's something that we all need to be aware of as we're kind of going through our day-to-day lives. People that just are citizens who are going above and beyond, who we believe deserve recognition in our community. We bring those people to the attention of this committee, and then we give that information to the city council for recognition.
It can also go toward property owners, like the building you were talking about on Lodi Avenue. If they go over and above and fix it up and do that sort of thing, you can
Oh, yes.
That's a great idea.
recognize them for improving the property, that kind of thing.
And is this just like a verbal recognition, or do we invite them into our meeting, or how do we go about that? Verbal recognition?
Yeah, once we get, typically what's happened in the past is somebody has brought it to the committee and said, okay, I'd like to nominate this person, and this is why. And they write up a little narrative about why they want to recognize this person, what they've done, or recognize a property or owner of the property because of what they've done. And then we write up a certificate and invite them in and present that to them.
Can we do that recommendation anytime, or is only certain part of the year?
You
I think
can,
it's
anytime.
monthly.
Anytime.
Every time we have a meeting, yeah, seems like that's something we do at each of our meetings. So if there's someone that you want to nominate, I guess we can put together like
Yes.
yeah. Give them props.
I can give another update to city beautification. Sorry about this. Elaine Dashner is, who you guys are all acquainted with. She does the tours on
The Women's History
Women's History Tour. And she's also starting a new, it's not really about beautification, but it is kind of cool. She's starting a new character, Estella Smith, the person who gave the property for Lodi Lake to the city. And so she's got a new costume and a whole new story, and it's designed to appeal to children. And, she's moving ahead with the Lord DeForest Gordon Day. And so there's a lot of exciting thing happening there. They've got their nonprofit status, or I should say we, because I'm on that committee. So anyway, she's doing a great job, as usual.
It's always great to recognize Elaine. She does so much.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more about that project. Are we still talking about handrails?
I don't think we are.
Okay, so can we just
Yeah.
maybe,
We need to have another, we need to have an ad hoc or a small committee meeting where we redo these goals.
yes,
I'm wondering if maybe in February, if
Yeah.
that's something you guys want to put on the looking ahead?
Yeah.
Because we should have a full quorum of committee members, and everybody should be able to bring what their ideas are for their goals.
I think that would make a lot of sense because these are not relative to where we're at, and with the current quorum that we have, it's just not relative.
We meet
anymore for-
an hour before this meeting, and we go over our goals, and then we have this meeting. So we just come early,
Okay.
or vice versa.
Okay, if it's okay with everyone else, I would like to we'll just skip the rest of these goals. They're not relative to where we're at.
I have an update on the shelter, though.
Oh, okay, well then we'll hear that.
Don't try to scoot out my shelter. The Lodi Committee on Homelessness is moving forward, we're making small incremental progress on investigating. Now we've kind of moved into a advocating position with the city to establish a temporary pet fostering service for people entering treatment for alcohol addiction or drug addiction. And I did receive a letter of support from Louis Polnick, who is the executive officer for the Lodi Community Foundation. Yeah. And I have a meeting with the chief of police tomorrow morning. So I don't know if, I think we're moving the needle a bit. The fact that we've got the liaison officer, the shelter operators, the Lodi Improvement Committee, all saying this is a significant barrier to treatment. And there are people out there who can be helped and we can take off the street if we can just solve this problem. So there are models for this with deployed military. There's also something through the Humane Society, home to home. So I think we're going to be able to, I'm optimistic, but I'll find out tomorrow morning if there's the political will and if we have the support for it. So I look forward to updating the committee next month.
Perhaps we should reinstate your goal with the animal shelter.
Yeah, that goal will continue because that's a
Okay.
partnership between this committee and the Lodi Committee on Homelessness. I happen to be on both of them, so that's what we're doing.
Awesome, thank you so much.
And this is where you'd also talk about any public awareness that you guys wanted to bring up is in this section right here,
Okay,
the same one.
I'm not really sure how to bring that about in a conversation with the committee. Is that,
I mean, this is where you would probably brainstorm how you want to make the public more aware of what's going on, especially at this committee. And the items that are brought to this committee.
is there anyone on our current committee that is good with social media?
No, that would not be me. Gary's laughing.
I can do it. I can try.
Are we allowed to have like an Instagram for our committee? Is that something that would be within our abilities to publicly portray on an Instagram account or something like a Facebook account? I think Instagram would reach more of our younger population. Facebook is going to be people, dare I say, my generation.
We can look into that.
Okay.
Also, in the old days, sorry, I talk about the old days. I don't know if they still do it. They used to put an announcement in the newspaper when it was going to be our next meeting. A little, but, I mean, do
Exactly.
still do that or no?
I think the internet is the way to go here. I think
I
there's
know.
plenty of people that read the newspaper and it's on the internet as well. So a lot of people receive their news via,
So I have many pages for different groups from, I mean, I manage like 4 or 5 pages in Facebook. I can add another one, but first we need to see if it's okay with the bylaws of the.
One of the things that we had talked about doing, and I was having town hall meetings, taking this meeting and having it in different locations.
Yes, very important.
So I think that would be a really good way to kind of engage and get more people, especially if we had it in a local business. So if we picked a business on the east side and they could accommodate, I mean, we're not that big a group. And if we had a way to still put it on YouTube, I don't know how we would do that, but that's something we can work on.
is that something where we need to increase the amount of meetings that we have so that we have town hall meetings bi-monthly and then like a official meeting in Carnegie Forum and then maybe an unofficial town hall in between sometime? Would we need to increase the amount of meetings we have or would it replace a meeting?
You could do either. You can have a special meeting in addition to your regular meeting.
Maybe we can discuss that part because I do like the town hall idea.
I like the town hall idea, and I think it's something that we can maybe finalize in February.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
is our
that
goal.
sounds great.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, there are no unofficial meetings of your committee. So all of them under Brown Act. So therefore, we have to do public postings, we have to do noticing, we have to do all of that stuff. If it's remote, we can still handle that. It just has to be noticed and we have to have a quorum. And there's regular business of the committee in each session. but then you can focus on whatever the special event would be. So you're still governed only because you're council appointed, so those are the same regulations that apply.
I'd like to see us do a town hall and then see how that goes and get a little experience with it. And then maybe put out feelers to other community groups and kind of move it around. But maybe we do it quarterly if it's successful and we are, you know.
I think by saying unofficial, I meant more of a casual setting. So let me rephrase how I meant to word that, because it should be official business, but I think it would be nice to have a more casual setting for the community to feel more, like a more safe environment to come to versus here where it's like you're in a courtroom and it's a little more intimidating. So the town hall makes it much more approachable.
Like Lisa was saying, I think in February we can try to organize one for
Pick a
the
date.
spring. So this way, right now the weather is not going to help, and we are not ready either. So maybe by
let's all-
spring we're ready.
Let's all think of businesses that we would like to suggest and, pick a date.
Great, so are we satisfied with our future goals as far as public outreach and things like that? Let's move on to the audience, if there's any public comment. No, nothing from the
Regular-
public.
It's actually, we already did that.
Oh,
We,
I was just
regular
offering
calendar
again.
now? It's regular calendar now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, committee announcements from, is that where we're at? I feel like that's what we just did. Is that not what we just did? The regular business and making a goal for our next, or upcoming meeting?
Yeah, do you guys want to have a December meeting? That's typically one of those meetings that we cancel is December, but since we have canceled so many this year,
I think we should cancel the December meeting. And I think we need a full group of people here. I think December's
I want to
difficult.
interject and say we are getting more members. I think there's more being sworn in on November 19th, as far as I'm
okay.
told. So if we can get, I don't want those members to go, well, there's not even a meeting in December. I don't want to lose new members to the,
well, your meeting would happen before that.
true. Well, November 19th is when they're getting sworn in. And if we have a December meeting, wouldn't they be a part of the December meeting?
Yeah, if it's November 19th, yeah, I guess so.
And then when in December, what's the day in December that our meeting would land on?
10th, I think. Is it the 10th or the 9th?
Does anyone have any pending vacations on the 10th of December?
I think, hold on one second, is that the evaluation committee? Let me see here.
The 10th is the evaluation committee,
Yeah,
but the 9th is the Tuesday. That would be the
oh,
week.
that's right, that's the 9th, okay. Yeah, I've got it on my calendar. If you want to do it, we can do it.
I'd like to have the meeting in December. We've really missed it much. And even though we don't have new goals in place, it would be a good introductory, and thank you. It'd be a good introduction for our new members.
Okay. Do you want to have a presentation? Is there anybody you'd like to invite to that one? Or would you like to use that one as your goal setting instead of waiting until
I
February?
don't think we're ready for more presentations and things like that. I think it would be just kind of a simple meeting to introduce our new team, and then it'll take us into the new year, and then kind of give us an idea of how we'll look coming in again in January.
It'll be an uncomplicated meeting,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can look for an award, a city recognition, a community recognition.
I think
that
we need to nominate Mrs. and Mr. Claus for their efforts. Have you seen their costumes?
No, no.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, maybe we could bring them in. Maybe
Well,
we can bring in Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
It doesn't, so with these community recognitions, they don't necessarily come in on that night, right? Or these recommendations we make to the city council.
But what if they could?
They take a couple of meetings.
Yeah, they
to
take
go
a couple
through.
of meetings to have that.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll arrange for a public comment from the North Pole to be here.
would be nice.
Okay.
That would be nice to have them come in, though, and talk about what they do. Yeah.
Or you can do a potluck.
Okay, moving on. And so we've fulfilled that part, so,
So in January, you do have the capital projects presentations, if there are any. A lot of times, the providers don't come in for the capital projects. It's usually the service programs that they come in for. But if we have any, that'll be for that night, so that'll be the presentation on that night,
for January.
for January, yes. And then, so you still have February if you want to go with the goal setting.
Right. Should we do goal setting in January? And get the first month of the year really on a better footing than
Yeah,
waiting till
let's-
February?
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's do that in January.
And we'll do the goals in January and then the town hall in February.
I like that. That sounds great.
So that will be a meeting before or after this meeting in January. After? Okay.
Do we need to vote on anything tonight? I really wanted to use the gavel, but it's fine.
You can't. Wrap it
When
up.
you
Yeah,
adjourn.
when you adjourn, you can.
Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. Do we have any comments or announcements from the committee members or staff on non-agenda vitamins? I need a vitamin. Bear with me, as I said.
Yeah, I got a comment.
Oh, great.
I think I want to congratulate Carrie on a great presentation, and you did good, and you were very knowledgeable. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's appreciated since it was my first. I did want to share, Fair Housing did send out that they're having a virtual workshop on Friday, the 19th, December 19th. So it's just something for people, for tenants and landlords. And so if you are interested in learning a little bit about what Fair Housing does, they have a workshop going on.
Do we also have the committees and commissions
I was just going to say, on
holiday
the
appreciation?
20th.
Yeah.
That's right, on the 20th.
And they need the RSVP by the 12th, correct?
The RSVPs were done last week.
Oh, they're all in, okay.
Did you get it?
I cannot make it, I have a conflict. Darn it. You guys have a hot chocolate for me.
But if anybody would like to speak at and describe kind of what the committee does, they're looking for
Chair.
volunteers to
I was
get
really
up
hoping
and.
Lisa would be there
Oh, yeah,
to hold my hand, but I guess I'll have the experience. And I'll practice in my mirror for a while, and then I will say something about our committee.
Okay.
Okay, great. So I think with that, I can adjourn the meeting, and I can hit the gavel.
Hit it hard. Yeah. Thank,